Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's live session on Instagram. My name is Diego. I'm the marketing strategist from Playman International. Today, I'm excited to dive into a topic and that can really make a difference in your career journey. It's CV and interview tips. So while we wait for more people to join, let us know where you're watching from, in what is your current position, where you have a CV, and this way we can let you know a little bit better. Hi, Nonny. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Hey, thank you for joining me. So now that
Perfect.
more people join, I'll need to introduce myself again. My name is Diego. I'm the marketing strategist for Playman International. So today we'll be discussing about how to master your CV tips and interview techniques. I know it's something that a lot of our candidates ask us often, so that's why we wanted to talk about this topic. And we invited here Nonny. She's a top recruiter to share valuable insights about the industry and how to make your CV stand out and how to prepare yourself effectively for interview process. So Nonny, welcome. It's a pleasure to have you here. Please introduce yourself, tell a bit about yourself, what you currently do, a little of your background experience. In that way, they can all meet you.
Perfect. Hi, everybody. Sorry, Diego, I just wanted to check if you guys can see me.
Right now, I'm not able to see you. So
Are you able to see me?
yeah, I'm not able. So if you can turn your
Not
camera,
able.
that's okay.
Oh, no. Okay, please give me a moment to just fix that quickly.
Yeah, no worries. We're here, so don't worry.
Can I leave and come back?
Yeah, of course. We'll be waiting
It
for you.
seems
No
there's a bit of
worries.
an issue. I don't know what is going on this time. Don't know why.
Yeah, you can log out, and I'm gonna invite you then.
Okay, excuse me. Extreme apologies, everybody. I don't know what's wrong with my camera. I'd love to just sort that out quickly.
So hello, everyone, I'm gonna wait for a couple of minutes to Nani, and then we're gonna start about this, talking about CV. While we're waiting, if you want to share any questions in the comments, anything that you need, let us know and tell us about where you're from, if you already have your CV ready, and from what position you would like to apply. We'll be here to help you through the process and any questions you have. They're inviting Nani again. There she is. Hey,
Perfect. Is that
Nani.
working?
Now, yeah, it's working perfectly. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for everybody's patience. And again, sorry about that. I do apologize.
No worries. So, Nani, now we make the introduction. As you know, everybody will be talking about CV and interview tips, something that we already know that's very important for the application process. So that's why we wanted to talk about what with you and show you some facts and some tips that Nani will be talking. So,
Okay.
as you know, Nani, please introduce yourself and tell us a little about yourself and your background.
Hello, everybody, again. Thank you so much for everybody's patience. Again, my name is Nonny. I am all the way in South Africa. So, shout out to everybody who's in South Africa. I have a Bachelor of Commerce in Human Resource Management. I studied human resource management because of my passion for working in a people centered industry. And in the past 2 years, 2 to 3 years, I've exclusively just been working with agencies. So I've worked alongside big clients, and because it is an agency setting, I have worked with a wide variety of industries. So just to give you a few examples of a few industries I've worked in, is I've worked with the engineering industry, the IT industry, finance industry, the food and beverage industry, manufacturing industry. So I have worked with a variety of industries. And having said that, I handle CVs every single day. So I typically know what employers look for and what our clients look for. So I am just here to share this knowledge with everybody else. Whether you are applying for overseas, trying to enter a luxury hotel, or whether you just want to know how to make your CV stand out or how to make your interview stand out, I am here to help, and feel free to ask us questions.
Thank you, Nonny. Thanks for that introduction. Well, as we know, CV is to stand out when applying to jobs, whether you're starting in hospitality or any kind of industry. It's not just a random document. It's how you make that great first impressions, how you sell yourself, how do you present yourself. And it's all about the
Yes,
great first impressions, you know? So
right.
as you know, recruiters spend an average on 6 seconds on CV to see what are the experience, what are the keywords they're looking for, education. So Nani, based on your experience when analyzing a CV, what are the structure and essential things it should have to grab the attention of the recruiter in those first seconds, first minutes?
Perfect. That's a great question, Diego. And actually, you might be surprised at how many people actually don't know how to do this. So let's start there, and that's the basics. What is the structure that you should use? I would advise that you start your CV off right at the top with your name and surname, and then at the bottom of that is the job title that you're currently operating or occupying, and how we make the job title, because the job title, what you are right now, is typically what will catch my attention as a recruiter. So I want you to try and make your current job title as close to the job title you're applying to as possible. So if I am right now, let me make an example with myself. I am an HR officer at Placements International. Let's say I am now responding to a job ad of a recruiter, right? I if I say I'm an HR officer in the top, right? And that's my job title. It's not really going to make me stand out. Title that I want to go for is internal recruiter. I'm not lying because I do internal recruitment. I'm just making my job title a little bit more aligned to what those recruiters are looking for. So that's where I would start. Let's make your job title a little bit more aligned to whatever advert that it is that you are responding to. Second step from here is your education. I want to see education right at the front page. I don't know why, but we do have some people, and if you are one of these people, there's no need to be ashamed. It's a common mistake that we see a lot. Some people put their education right at the back, but I want to see it right at the front, mainly because education is one of the non-negotiable requirements that I have to look at. And I want to know from the get-go, do you have this qualification or not? So put your education right at the front. Then the next step from there is that I want to now obviously see your experience, right? And there's a certain order that as recruiters we look for when you are writing your experience. So please bear in mind that I want to see your work experience from the most recent work experience all the way to the first job that you ever had. I don't want to see your first job in 1995 right at the top of your experience, right? I
Right.
want to know what's most important to me right now is what are you doing now, right? How Whatever it is that you're doing now, how does it align with what I'm looking for? And that is why that's important. So when you do that structure, please make sure that you start with the most recent experience and then go all the way to your first job, right? So that's just another way that you can make yourself stand out. And then on your most recent experience, one more tip that I would give is that please make sure that when you list your responsibilities that you are currently doing in that job, make sure that you align those responsibilities with whatever it is that the person we are looking for will be doing. So look at the job responsibilities of the ad that you have responded to and have a look at your job responsibilities and try make them link, right? Try use keywords that have been used in the job description. Try use those keywords also in your job responsibilities. So for an example, maybe the job description says we're looking for somebody who has experience in applicant tracking systems, right? That's what I'm going to put in my job responsibilities, is that I take care of the applicant tracking system at Placement International. So just always try and make that link, because that's exactly what will make you stand out. I'm only taking 6 seconds to screen a CV and I already know if that's the right person or not. So there are certain keywords that I'm looking for, and those are just few of the things that will definitely make your CV stand out.
That's totally right, Nani, and thank you for sharing that with us. Talking about the structure and personal statements, also like from your experience, what is the best way to show achievement on a CV? Should we focus on results like boosting sales or improving process, or and how we can make those stand out on the hiring managers?
Perfect. That is a great question, Diego. So, when you are showcasing your CV or you're showcasing your achievements in your CV, I would say the one way that can make you stand out is counting numbers. So, I don't want to see things that are generic, like I improved sales. How much did you improve sales? When I got into this company, sales was at 50%, but when I started working and using my sales strategies, I improved sales by 35%. So we are now on 85%. We want to see numbers. And that's a great way that you can make your achievements stand out, because a lot of people actually don't use quantifiable figures when we're talking about achievements, right? They'll say something generic like, I improved sales, I improved customer interaction. How much did you improve it?
Great, great. Thanks for for saying that to us. Well, another thing that I would like to say is, what are there other tips that you would like to say about and when doing your CV? Are there any final touches that we need to add in order to make sure that it's already completely good to send it to the recruiters?
Yes, sure. So having said that, um, another thing obviously is, just the obvious things now that we need to take care of. After you've taken care of all of that stuff that we've mentioned, now we need to take care of the obvious things, like making sure your CV is clear, right? Just make sure that you're using a clear, easy to read font, not a font that is complicated, that is difficult to use, right? So that's just not another way, right? And then another way is to make sure that your CV is free of mistakes. Read it two, three, five, 10 times. I don't know how many times, but just read your CV many times, because I've actually had instances where, with my own CV this time, not with other people's CV, where I've been sending my CV to so many companies, and then before this, and then I realized that, oh my word, I spelled something wrong. How did I not see this? So every chance you get, please read your CV, and that will make a world of a difference.
That's great. We got a question here, Nani. I'm gonna read it to you. Should I put a picture on my CV for hospitality jobs? What are your thoughts about that?
Sorry, can you come again? I didn't quite get that.
Should I put a picture on my CV for hospitality jobs? What do you think
Oh,
about
a
putting,
picture.
yeah, a picture? What do you think about that?
For hospitality jobs, it does help, right? I totally am for putting a picture for you on your CV. But also, if you don't have a picture, it's not really a train smash, right?
Right, right.
So I do encourage it. I do encourage it, but because different strokes for different oaks. If you're not comfortable, I don't think it's a train smash at all. I wouldn't disqualify you for not having a picture of yourself.
Okay, great. Great. Thank you for that, Nani. Well, now that we cover how to make your CV stand out, and thank you for those tips, let's talk about another crucial part of the job hunt is interview skills. I know that everyone has questions about that. How we can have a better interview process, how we can stand out in the process, and how we can make, you know, be a better potential way when we're talking about that. So, Nani, I know that you cover a lot of interview, a lot of candidates. What are the qualities you look for someone during the interviews, and what advice will you give to help people be better prepared for those interviews?
So the first quality I look for actually is the smile. Honestly, I really appreciate when I open my camera or the candidate opens their camera and they are smiling at me and they say, "Hi, how are you?" And they smile at me. I really enjoy that. So just I smile, smile because sometimes when you smile, you don't even look nervous and you are. Sometimes when you smile, you look even more confident than you actually are for the interview. So I would say, please, please, please greet the interviewer with a smile because it makes a whole world of a difference. No matter what role it is at this point, it doesn't matter what role it is. Just greet with a smile. That really helps. Also, research about the company, obviously. You want to know about the history of this company. You want to know about, the values of this company. How do these values align with your values? Because that's an important one. And you want to make sure that you mention that at any given point that you get the opportunity to do so. So mention how the values of the company align with your own personal values at any given point or at any chance that you get. And obviously, dress sharp. Dress code is extremely important. Whether this is a face-to-face interview or whether it's a virtual interview, there's this tendency with candidates where they think because it's a virtual interview, it's okay to open your camera and you're still in bed. No, it's not. Wake up, dress up, make up, and interview up.
Yeah, totally, totally right. So, any question like I would like to ask you is, shall candidates should answer the question, "What are your weaknesses?" I know something that a lot of us struggle with. So, any tips, recommendation for that question?
Yes, sure. So when you answer the question, what are your weaknesses? We do want to know your weaknesses, but we also want to know what have you done to compensate for those weaknesses. But also just be careful of which weaknesses that you speak about, because you don't want to mention a weakness that could cost the company at the same time, right? You don't want to mention a weakness that can cost us $50,000 now, do you?
Yeah,
So when it comes to weaknesses, also be careful of which weaknesses you're speaking about, but also tell us what you've done to compensate for that. So if you say my weakness is time management, I want to know what have you done to compensate for that? Have you started diarizing? Because that's a great way to compensate. So typically for that one, I would say my weakness is time management, but in the past year, I've learned to keep a diary of the things that I'm supposed to do and what time I'm supposed to do them, and that has really helped. So always have a weakness along with what you have done to compensate for that weakness.
great. Yeah, that's totally right. I think
Mm.
showing that how you can become better in your weakness, that'll be great. Something when you're doing the process and to make a very first impression. Another question I
Yeah,
would
and
like to ask you, Nani, sorry to interrupt you, is tackling behavioral questions with the STAR method. I know it's something that a lot of us doesn't know the process. I didn't know in my first interviews. I struggled with that until I learned it. So I know that you know that. And so if you can share that with us, a little bit of tips, how we can manage that kind of questions to have a better impression, to have a better execution in the interview, that would be great.
right. Right. So these questions typically start off with tell me about a time. And once you hear that, in your head, they should ring the star method, right? The star method bell, cling, 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 should ring in your head, right? Tell me about a time where you failed. So you want the star method is this. We start telling the situation. What was the situation, right, when you failed? So I would say, I was an HR intern, right? That was the situation. I was an HR intern. And then what task were you given? So S in the star stands for task. Sorry, S stands for situation, T stands for task. The task I was given is I was meant to create 100 contracts for new interns that were going to start. And then what was the action that I took? So we have S for situation, T for task, action, right? I was given this task. This is what went wrong in the task. And then I took this action to make it right. And then what was the result from that action? The result was that people were happy. I was able to own up to my mistake, and I was able to fix it, and the people were happy. So when we ask a question like, tell me about a time where you failed, we don't want a story where you didn't really fail, because some candidates will make the mistake of telling me a story where they didn't really fail, right? We want to know, how do you react when you failed? How do you react when you've made a mistake and you have costed the team? What action do you take? So that is the most important thing to take out of this, is that you don't have to hide that you failed before, because that just makes it really not authentic.
Totally.
And that's sometimes just a turn off. And we want it to be as authentic as possible. So tell me a real story where you failed, but where you did something about it and the result was then positive.
Great. Thank you for that, Nani. Like all those tips gonna help us a lot of us, including me, to be honest. So thank you for sharing all your knowledge. Really, really appreciate it. And now I would like to time for a Q&A session. So anyone, if you have any questions about your CV, about the interview process, just leave it in the comments, and I'll answer as many as possible. And let's make this interactive session. So we're gonna wait a couple of minutes. So see if who else have a question. So here's the first one. How important is it to customize a CV for each job application?
That's a good question. And I would say it is important, but obviously also because you have one career. So I'm just an HR officer. Sometimes I won't be required to if I'm applying within that career path, within the HR career path, I wouldn't really be required to customize it a lot, okay, a lot of times. But there are times where, I will have to customize it. So I really would say at this point, it really depends on whether it is the same industry that you're applying into, right? Let's say right now I'm working in the hospitality industry and I'm applying in a different industry, right? I would say then customize your CV a little bit more to suit that industry. Look at the company as well, and also customize it a little bit more with so that it's in line as well with the company that you're responding to. So yeah, at this point, I would say just look at the industry, and that should tell you whether you should customize your CV or not.
Okay, great. Great, thanks for that. Okay, this one is for the ones that have less experience. The question is, how long should a CV be, especially for someone with less experience? In that case, yeah, what do you thought about that with someone doesn't have experience too much in the industry? How someone should start their CV?
Okay, so the question, sorry, if I just want to make sure I've got that right. Is the question, how long should the CV be?
Yeah, exactly. And what
Okay.
things they can include?
Okay, so for somebody who is obviously new or new to working, I would say 2 pages maximum um, is enough for somebody who is new to the industry. So that would be a great length. 2 pages, nice, short and sweet.
Cool, that's perfect. And I think this question is for you, Nani. How long does it take for the employer to get back to the applicant? Is there
Sure.
a procedure? Sometimes it depends on the person.
Mm.
How does it works?
Sure. This one is a difficult one, and it's a great question, and big ups to whoever asked that question. When it comes to the recruitment process, it honestly depends on each company. I've worked for many companies, and many of them being recruitment agencies, and the time frame was different in each company. So I would say it really honestly depends on the company. That's a question I wouldn't be able to answer on behalf of all companies. But again, it's a great question to ask right at the beginning, very first interview. That's a great question to ask. Never forget to ask, when should I expect feedback?
Great, great. Well, let's talk about a lot of questions. Like, here's another one. How can candidates build confidence before going to an interview? That's a good one.
That's a good one. That's a good one. You won't believe how I built my confidence for interviews. I actually started talking to myself in the mirror, and it was a trick that my think it was my grade 12 teacher taught me. I was still in high school when I learned this. And every morning when I woke up, I would look at myself in the mirror and I would say something to myself. Like, look at myself in the mirror and say, you're going to nail this. Okay, you're going to nail this test today. So, practicing in the mirror did wonders for me, honestly speaking. And that's a great way to build your confidence is to look at yourself in the mirror and practice talking to yourself, looking at yourself in the mirror. That will make a world of a difference. And also just researching as well the company. Obviously, I can't stress that enough. When you know what you're talking about, then obviously your confidence comes in as well. So look at yourself in the mirror, talk to yourself in the mirror, and also do your research because that will boost your confidence like you've never known.
Totally. Yeah, that's totally right. It worked for me, like practicing, be confident, and make sure what you're saying it's like very with confidence, and yeah, you guys
Yes.
are totally right.
Mm,
So let's
mm.
go to
Can I just
another
add on to
question.
that? Sorry.
Sorry.
Can I just add
Yeah, of
on to that?
course.
Yeah, so when you know what you're talking about, sometimes you might not know what you're talking about, but always try and make it seem like you know what you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah,
This is a
exactly.
dirty trick that I can teach you.
It is. It
Because
is.
when you pretend a little bit sometimes, if something catches you off guard, I would strongly advise that you pretend you know what you're talking about because when you pretend, I, as an interviewer, am also confident that, okay, this person knows what they're talking about, right? I'm not going to doubt. But the moment you start to say, I'm already like, oh, this person doesn't know what they're
Yeah,
talking about.
totally right. That's totally right. So I got another question for you, Nani. Should your CV include your degree? Example, attaching it at the back of your CV, or should you specify it on the CV?
Perfect. That's such a great question. I wouldn't attach anything. Don't attach anything at this point to your CV. Don't even attach your identity document. There is absolutely no need at this point unless the application states otherwise, right? If the application does not state otherwise, there is absolutely no point. I would not attach my degree. I would not attach my identity documents. I would just send in my CV as it is.
Okay, great. Thanks. Um, let's see another one. I see some people put hobbies on their resume. Is that something professional to have it in your my resume?
I, it's a good question because I also see it a lot. And I would save this part for the interview, honestly speaking. I would save your hobbies for the interview. There's absolutely no need to have your hobbies on the CV, in my opinion. I have not seen it work for anybody. I have not really seen it be the reason why somebody has been shortlisted. So, what's the point?
Yeah.
So I would say save your hobbies for the interview. Should you get asked what are your hobbies in the interview, then go on about it. But so long as you're not asked, it's not even worth putting them on your CV.
Okay, great. Great. So yeah, I think that was the last question, Nani, and um, I think yeah, that's it. But thank you for helping us, and thank you for your time. To everyone
Perfect.
who are listening to us, seeing us, please leave a comment, leave any questions you have, attach in the comment section. We'll be answering you via DMs. I hope these interview tips will help you to be more prepared. And please, all the tips that Nani gave us, start applying it. That will be great. That way, they will make an easier process to everyone who is applying to new jobs in the hospitality industry and any part of the industry. So please stay tuned for more sessions with us. We'll be start having a lot of conversation with different people, different aspects of the industry. So anything, please send us a DMS and we'll be happy to help you. Nani, thank you for your time, and it's a pleasure to have you here. And anything you need, please, we'll be in touch.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Love you so much. Goodbye.
Okay, bye everyone. Thank you.